This episode of Twin Cities Trekkies is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor before, let me explain. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that help you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership required. They'll also help you to distribute your podcast so it can be heard on many different platforms, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's all you need in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, folks, welcome to mini episode number 2 of Twin Cities Trekkies. I am Wes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the potential of franchise fatigue in Star Trek. Are we getting too much? This is going to be more of a strictly opinionated episode of Twin Cities Trekkies. I used to do these episodes a lot when I did the Minnesota Star Trek Nerd Podcast. I used to do many opinion episodes about Star Trek. I mean, how I personally felt about that and stuff like that. But that's okay. I mean, this is going to be a mini episode to hold you over until we can record new episodes. So, just let you know again about the schedule. Next week, which will be episode 31 of the main show, which will be on November 17th, so a week from today, we will be back to record episode 31, which will be about our predictions for Discovery Season 4. There's more predictions for Picard Season 2 because we had a new trailer and stuff like that that was released at Star Trek Day and stuff like that. We can talk about Discovery's Season 4 predictions because Season 4 of Discovery's trailer was released at New York Comic Con and stuff like that. And we'll probably talk about the first few episodes of Prodigy. Who knows? I don't know, but mainly the goal is going to be talking about predictions for Discovery Season 4 and Picard Season 2. And then the following week after that, we will be wrapping up the second season of Lower Decks. So we're going to do a wrap up of all 10 episodes. We did talk a little bit about Lower Decks in episode 29 when we came back after a month away, but we needed to talk about the entire season. So that is going to be a wrap up of season 2 of Lower Decks because we definitely need to talk about it, especially the final episode of season 2, the first contact episode, especially the last few minutes. So Kenzie and I definitely need to talk about that. So definitely like that. And we'll probably have probably won't be an episode for December 1st and stuff like that because it's Thanksgiving weekend and stuff like that. We don't want to intrude upon our families to record. But and stuff like that. Will probably be episodes after that for the 8th and the 15th of December. But then after that, we probably will not be doing one the week before Christmas, and the week after that for the New Year, and then we'll be back in 2022. So I may just do like a holiday message or something like that with to remind you of the schedule and stuff like that. Maybe just say thank you and stuff like that at the end of the year. Who knows? So, but that's the schedule going forward. Many episodes these many episodes are just going to be around just to keep the feed going, stuff like that. So, but to get in touch with us, it is simple. Send us an email at tctrekkiespodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to send us an email. We'll gladly read your email. Granted, if it's a long one, we'll definitely break it up and react to it one bit at a time and stuff like that. If you have a podcast of your own, send us an email too with a 60-second promo to tctrekkiespodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to send us that promo. Don't try to keep it between 30 and 60 seconds, but if you go a little bit over, I'm not going to penalize you. So, but the podcast promos we've had on the show include Pod Jerky, Beyond the Pen, and Living the Dream with Curveball. But I'm just letting you know, if you guys have like a Star Trek podcast you want me to promote, let me know. If there's a promo for that, let me know. If you have a Star Wars podcast, let me know. Genre of podcast is not required. I would rather be a part of the overall podcasting community than to restrict. I mean, we would like to be a part of the overall podcasting community rather than just be a niche, uh, a niche aspect of it. So just keep it to Star Trek or Star Wars, which is okay. Um, it's fine. So I don't care. But I mean, I personally don't care what kind of genre podcast it is. So if you are listening to us, that is perfectly fine. Send us an email or send us a promo if you have podcasts of your own. If you prefer to comment on social media, that's perfectly fine. The handle is TC Trekkies Pod for both Facebook and Instagram. The episodes are dropped on Wednesdays at midnight Central Time, and posts for Facebook are scheduled at that same time at midnight. But then also episodes, I mean the um, Instagram posts are gonna come out like about 7-8 hours later on Instagram because if I knew how to schedule Instagram posts, I would, but that's okay. But that's okay. It's fine. Um, but I just let you know what's going on regarding that. So, to keep in, but then, if you want to leave us a voice message, go to anchor.fm/Twin Cities Trekkies, click on that little message button, enable your microphone, and start recording. If you have a long-winded voice message, we'll definitely break it up and react to it and dedicate the whole episode to you. I mean, granted, if you have like a review of every single episode we've done, reaction to it, let us know. It's okay. It's fine. It cuts us down. It cut our prep down and stuff like that. So, let you guys know that but keep in mind that any message you do leave, vocal or written, that is feedback related, may be featured in a future episode of Twin Cities Trekkies. So, franchise fatigue. Oh boy, why are we talking about this? I guess the reason why is because we've had a lot of Star Trek related announcements lately, and we're going like, oh boy, what are we supposed to do? Is it too much? This pretty much stemmed from me finding out that the head of Paramount Pictures, I forgot his name now, he used to run Nickelodeon. Um, he was the one who took the pitch for Prodigy from Alex Kurtzman back in 2019 and accepted it and stuff like that and agreed to develop it. And he announced when Prodigy had premiered at New York Comic Con that there are multiple Star Trek films in development. That includes the one by Matt Shakman, but then also it probably includes the one being written by Discovery writer Kalinda Vasquez, and also possibly the first ever animated Star Trek film. So, which is interesting. It's interesting to see. So, um, but then we have like 10 shows going on. We have the 6 legacy shows. We have the original series, the animated show, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, all on Paramount Plus. And then we have the new shows, which includes Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Prodigy, and Strange New Worlds, and whatever comes after that, and stuff like that. And and also Paramount Plus says all 13 films for the first time in the United States. So yay! So we got so much content out there, over 800 episodes. over, like many hours worth of content. So is franchise fatigue gonna happen? Is possible. Yes, it is possible because Star Wars experienced it too fast. I want to say this because like regarding the sequel trilogy and stuff like that, I love the sequel trilogy. I just want to say that right now. I enjoy the sequel trilogy from Star Wars. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I enjoy all three films. Then that would be The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker. So I do enjoy all three of those films. That's an unpopular opinion, but I enjoy them. I mean, I try to get into Mandalorian. I mean, it's okay. I never watched Solo. I never saw Rogue One. So we had, but Star Wars experienced it way too darn fast. They released 5 films in the space of 4 years. So, um, The Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, Solo, and then The Rise of Skywalker. So, I mean, they experienced it way too fast, and now they're backtracking a little bit and concentrating more on the streaming side. So that's why we got shows upcoming and currently airing, like um, the Book of Boba Fett, the Bad Batch, the conclusion of Clone Wars, and Resistance and stuff like that. But they didn't really develop that for Disney Plus. They developed it for Disney Channel. But Star Trek has already experienced franchise fatigue. It has, and this was because um this is why Berman Trek differs from Kurtzman Trek. First of all, Berman Trek is pretty much the same tired concept, going off where no one's gone before. With Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Granted, it was a little different for Deep Space Nine, but eventually because they had the runabouts at first, but then like trying to explore the final frontier with runabouts. But then when the Defiant happened, it became the same thing to explore strange new worlds, to go boldly off where no one gone before, until the Dominion War. And then Voyager did the same thing. We're stranded in the Delta Quadrant, but we're still going to boldly go where no one's gone before. And then Enterprise, the first couple seasons of Enterprise did the same thing and stuff like that. So it's pretty much the same tired concept over and over again, week after week for years. So and stuff like that. So the difference between Berman Trek and Kurtzman Trek is that Kurtzman Trek has 5 shows, but they'll all be different. They're all different. Feel, storytelling style, visual effects, and stuff like that. So it doesn't feel tired. It doesn't feel tired and worn out. Like Discovery and Picard. Discovery is about one person's journey to being a redeemed, you know, officer in Starfleet and stuff like that. It's pretty much a journey of Michael Burnham, from being part of the Sarek family to being the first officer on the Shenzhou to being exonerated for her role in the Klingon War to end the war, but she was the one who started it. And then season 2 is the one who tries to prevent a galaxy-wide Armageddon with control and stuff like that. So it takes the ship into the future and stuff like that. So that also is and stuff like that. And then season 3 try to bring the Federation somewhat back together after the burn and stuff like that. Even though I think the burn explanation was still atrocious, I still think that way almost a year later. But I still think that way. But it's okay. I mean, and stuff like that. And Picard is a slower show for a good reason. It's pretty much talking about one character at the tail end of his life and career and stuff like that, trying to make the galaxy a better place, because the galaxy had gone dark because of what happened with Utopia Planitia and stuff like that in 2385, and then 14 years later, trying to bring back to the way things kind of were and stuff like that, and being what the Federation meant to Picard and stuff like that. Even though the human version of Picard died, but the android version is still alive. I don't know that will be reversed in Picard season 2. Well, no, who knows? And then Lower Decks is just episodic comedy, talking about the nuances and quirks aboard a less significant ship compared to the Enterprise or the Starship Titan or any other ship, and deals with this motley crew and stuff like that of, ensigns and stuff like that as they navigate through the universe. And Prodigy will be about a group of kids who discover this Starfleet ship and try to find salvation and exploration and optimism. So, and then Strange New Worlds will be an episodic show, which is something a lot of Trek fans wanted. They didn't really appreciate the serialization of Picard or Discovery, but they would enjoy Strange New Worlds. So they all have different storytelling styles and stuff like that, and it works. So, and that's why I think franchise fatigue probably not going to be much of a problem this time around compared to the 18-year run between the start of Next Generation and the end of Enterprise, and 6 films in that time span too, which were the 6th film of The Undiscovered Country, Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis. So, but without the 2009 film and the Into Darkness and stuff like that, we never would have gotten probably this new version of Star Trek. And that's okay with me. The new version doesn't mean necessarily a bad thing. And, and it's okay. And that's how I feel about, other sci-fi shows that people like to enjoy, such as Amazon's The Expanse, Amazon Prime Video's The Expanse, or Hulu's The Orville, or stuff like that, or other sci-fi science fiction shows that may come and go, such as La Brea on NBC or Ordinary Joe on NBC as well, and stuff like that. So it's okay. Franchise fatigue is probably could happen, but probably not as much. It's not as bad. And if it all comes crashing in 2026 when Kurtzman's contract is up with Viacom CBS and it's all over, it could be potentially a generation before we get more Star Trek. We don't want that, do we? So my advice to you, if you are listening to this and you're one of those fans who hates Kurtzman Trek for whatever reason, I don't care what your reason is. I really don't. But I do want to let you know that this is actually here to stay. Kurtzman Trek is here to stay. And you are perfectly free to not watch it. We won't miss you. But I just want you to know that, it's okay. I have a problem with you with that. I do. But I'm going to be respectful if you have a legitimate reason to. If you're just hating it because you just do, then I have a problem with you. But if you don't, but if you have a legitimate reason why you don't like Discovery or Picard or Lower Decks or Prodigy or Strange New Worlds, God forbid, um, I'm perfectly fine if you have a legitimate reason to. If you don't, then I'm not gonna like you too much. And that's my personal opinion. I'm just letting you guys know this is my personal opinion about how I feel. I mean, if you have a legitimate reason why you hate Discovery, you have a legitimate reason to hate Picard or Lower Decks, which I understand. Some of the humor in season 2 was a little bit grossed out. I understand. I had problems with it too. But if you have a legitimate reason to hate the Kurtzman era Trek, then let me know. But if you just do it because you're listening to other YouTubers who say, oh, Kurtzman Trek is not real Star Trek. They're ruining my Star Trek. Well, if you think they're ruining Star Trek, then Star Trek must have hurt you a long time ago. Maybe something in the Berman era probably had hurt you. And that's why I kind of have a problem with Rick Berman now, even though it's been worshipped now. I don't get it. It's being worshipped now. And the rest of it's blasphemy. It's because I have a really strong opinion of Rick Berman, and Kenzie and I have not shied away from our feelings about that man. We both feel that he sucks. He was a bad producer. We both feel that way. I mean, I think that's what it was when we did the Influencers of Star Trek episode back in like July. So I could be wrong. If I was wrong, you can listen to the episode and correct me. But which I'll take. But I just want to let you guys know that it's okay. It's perfectly fine. If you have a legitimate reason, just tell me so. Legitimate reason to hate Discovery or Lower Decks or Picard or Prodigy, which it's okay. It's great. I didn't expect it to be that good, but it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Just if you have a legitimate reason to, it's okay. But if you don't, then I have a problem with you. That's my personal opinion. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm just letting you guys know how I feel. If you have a legitimate, I don't mean to go in circles, but I'm just gonna say one more time. If you have a legitimate reason, I'm cool with you. That's fine. That's fair. I understand. I accept it, and I may think you're wrong, but you have a respectful opinion of me. I'll have a respectful opinion of you. Stuff like that. So, and that's okay. So, anyway, that's my rant, I should say. I mean, my how I feel about franchise fatigue this time around in Star Trek. Feel free to send us a comment or an email or a voice message, and we'll definitely let you guys, and we'll definitely feature in the next episode of Twin Cities Trekkies. So next week, episode 31, which will be back on the main show, we'll be talking about predictions for Picard Season 2 and Discovery Season 4, and maybe a little bit of Prodigy. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about our impressions of the show. Who knows? But that's all it is. And then the following week after that will be about a wrap-up of Season 2 of Lower Decks, because by that time, we'll have had a month out from that final episode's airing of Season 2, and we can speculate what might happen in Season 3. So, and stuff like that. So, until next week, take care and live long and prosper. Thank you.